All right, we got a Thursday recap. More choppy price action, but um some key points, more key points that I need to pay attention to. So, first things first, first things first, lock in, bro. All right, number one, my account got blown today, and I'm not mad at it whatsoever. I took good trades. I didn't like crash out, like because when I usually trade, I just crash out. It's literally just we've been getting some choppy ass price action, some bullshit, and um honestly, the for the major idea, like the main idea of things in general, I'm doing a lot better than I have been like the last like my whole trading, I guess. I'm like definitely the best that I'm at right now. I believe this is the strategy that I enjoy the most so far. Um, still trying to find what I like the most. And I think just this simplifies it so much, just looking at displacement, and just looking for a retrace and an inverse for value gap. It really simplifies everything a lot more. Um, and now I'm starting to get into like the smaller stuff where I need to start paying attention more to because this is what's going to get me out of being unprofitable or break even. And yeah, that's what I'm going to go over today. There's a lot of small stuff that made me lose today. So I'll show you why. So going into the day, we had an SMT with London highs, and Q was the weaker pair. So we will be trading NQ. Um, yeah, just so you can see, right? And we have on NQ, we have the London lows, and then we have this low and this low. So stacked lows, low resistance liquidity, whatever you want to call it. ES doesn't really have that. They're a lot further down. This is previous day lows. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to see. I wanted to see at least London lows since we put in the SMT with London high. And then as you can see on the 15-minute chart, which is you really only need to see on the 5 minute that this candle, 8:30 candle, 5 minute displacement. It's exactly what you want to look for. Um, yeah, so before market open, we come to this 5 minute gap, and I expect this to hold basically to go all the way back down. But something to look at, right, is on market open, which is this candle, right? Look on the 15-minute time frame. We opened up a 15-minute fair value gap. So what do we do? Market open. Market open, we displace higher, right? And we tap to this 15-minute gap. Now we have an SMT at the London highs, right? So I don't expect those highs to be hit. Maybe this high gets hit, but I doubt it. I expect us to reject from here, right? And what do we get when we tap into this 15-minute? Also tap in the 15-minute on S&P. Why did I say S&P? ES. Who the fuck says that? Um, so no SMT there, but there still is a higher time frame SMT, and then we get a lower time frame SMT, right? Now, I saw that ES was the weaker pair, so I wanted to trade that. There was no obvious inverse, right? So I look in the 2 minute. There's an obvious 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute. There's a 5 minute for value gap. All of those are heavily closed below, right? I would say I prefer, even if there is a 5 minute or whatever, this is where I expect to reject from. So I'm fine with putting my stop there. And if I see a 1 minute inverse, that should be enough for me. Um, so we had NQ, right? It was the stronger pair, so you don't want to stronger bullish meaning. Um, but we have this 1 minute inverse, which was super, super clean. We expect us to reject from here. We have an SMT, we have an inverse for value gap, super clean. That should have been my entry. Price action recently, you're gonna have to put your stop at the SMT high, or you can put like right here. I wouldn't put it any closer. Usually I would put it like right here maybe, but I can't do that right now because price action is so ass. But then yeah, you hold it to London low, and that's a 3.6 RR right there. Reason why I didn't take this, I was focusing on this, but I think if there is a 1 minute for value gap, right? Whichever one is cleaner or which one provides a better risk reward, I'll just enter on that one. And if the stronger pair, reaches the draw on liquidity, I'll just take profits or exit all the way there. There's no reason why I should like say this is the end all be all because we're weaker here. I'm gonna enter on this no matter what. If it gives a better entry, why wouldn't you enter on this? You know? Um, yeah, the only other thing really, the thing I was thinking of, I think, also was on this. We inverse this gap, but there was this 1 minute gap that we held previously. So I was a little unsure, but um yeah, there was no reason why I shouldn't have taken that. It's pretty obvious where we're going. Um and even if let's see if there was a higher time frame entry if I wanted to take that. No. Oh yeah, no. No, 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 no. It was not an entry. Imagine taking that 5 minute gap. And enter on the close. Stops up here. Take profit right there. Right here. Point 0.3 risk reward. Ooh. Eat. But yeah. That is everything I need in the trade, and I just wasn't focused on that pair. Now, come down, we sweep these London lows. I still think the draw is lower, right? We come up aggressively trade into this 5 minute. I was a little unsure just of how aggressively we were trading, but just how hard we went up, we went back down with the V-shaped recovery. And so I expected this fair value gap to hold. So I entered off the close, mistake number one, right? Because your stop has to be like up here. Take profit down here. This is what my trade is looking like, a little over 1-to-1. Now, something to pay attention to, right? When you have such a big candle down like that, your risk reward is going to be buns, and the odds of it retracing are pretty high too. It's not just going to keep going that displacement, you know? So if you see these big candles, you'll see this big candle, and then you'll see retrace. You don't see those big candles consecutively, like I would say 98% of the time. And I like those odds, you know? If my trade strategy was a 98% win trade strategy or whatever, I would be full porting like every single time probably. Um but so yeah, even though if we get a very good close, very good V shape, very good displacement, you still would probably want to wait for this for value gap to open up, enter there. And yeah, that would have gave me 0.4 more risk reward just off of that. And this is just unfortunate, you know. We come up, we fill this entirely, we're respecting the C, whatever, and then we get this strong close up. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's bad. We inverse the gap, you know. And I was thinking, oh, we're gonna go to this high probably. No, we're not. We didn't. We just came right here, and then we came back down, and then we went down there. So that was an unfortunate stop out. Am I necessarily mad about that? No, but there was better things I could have done in this scenario. Yeah, just could have waited for a better retracement. So this candle going in, I probably would have entered like there probably. Stops could have been if I put it at that part, which I probably wouldn't put it at the wick, just because if it goes here, it's most likely going to go there. So I wouldn't have been stopped out there, and it would have gone to 1.68 risk reward with a way bigger stop, you know, or way deeper stop. And the second trade too was right here, right? We had an SMT. This is another mistake. Another mistake. SMT, right? As you can see, ES is definitely more bearish, you know. Bitch. If I enter this shit on ES, I would have been perfectly fine. Honestly, it would have been better. Got that inverse, right? Wait for a retrace into that fair value gap. Better risk reward. Stops at that high. Take profit down here. Would have been right before, but I would have taken out at a 3R. So even better than this trade. Reason why I didn't take this on ES is just because like NQ flip was just cleaner. You know, there's one singular fair value gap, clear V shape. There was two fair value gaps here, you know, whatever. Um, but yeah, no, the second trade, right? We have an SMT at these highs, right? Now, this one, right? You have a fair value gap here, you have a fair value gap right there. Now, since there's a 1 minute fair value gap on both of these, you want to take the weaker one, which is right here. So if I took the weaker one, which is the one I should have taken, hold on, let me get rid of that. So I would enter off the close off of this one just because it's not a huge candle. Stops at the high of the SMT or like right there, and then take profit down there. Nothing wrong with that trade. But I entered on NQ, which was being a fucking cock ball sack, fag ball sack, bitch fag ball sack. Sorry. Um, but yeah, entered off the close like off of that. Stopped right here, expecting that inverse to hold. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously something wrong with that. But yeah, stopped me out again and then just placed it lower. Uh reason why I lost on these is just because of risk management, I guess. Um this one wasn't a bad trade. I risked properly, but this second one, risked on the wrong asset and also yeah, I risked 1,000 again, 1% again, which would be a 2% loss if I took that and I was already down in the account. Not down. I was at over 100K, but I previously was above, so the trailing drawdown was closer. So I was already in a trailing drawdown. Um, but yeah, and then I got off right here, right? Just because the account's blown. I bought a 50K now. Now I'm on 50Ks instead of 100Ks just because number one, they're easier to pass and they're cheaper, and I still have yet to pass an account. I'm a fucking trading noob still, apparently. So yeah, I bought that, and hopefully that's actually easier to pass. I think it will be. Not that I have really mental problems, but just like I don't even know. I just think it's gonna be a little bit easier. You get more drawdown to profit ratio or whatever. But yeah, so we sweep this low. We have an SMT at these lows now, right? SMT. So we have a fair value gap on both. Which one do you enter on? You enter on the one that is in this case, it would be stronger. ES is stronger. ES and sweep it out. NQ did. So even though NQ inverses or whatever, ES inverses it earlier, right? See this bullshit? You wouldn't have to worry about that on ES. Stops below the inverse, expecting it to hold. Take profit up here. A nice 2 RR. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, NQ did eventually take it, but doesn't matter. Because I would have been out right there for a 1 to 8 5. Still great. So basically, this first one, right? There's no 1 minute inverse. I don't like that. There's a minute inverse right here. This is where I expect to reject, right? So this is the scenario where I would take it with the weaker SMT. So since it's weaker though, I will put it a little bit higher, my stop. And then, take my profit where I expect price to go, 3.5. Bam. Number one, first trade. Uh, right here, honestly, this is just unfortunate, but what I have to do is for a big inverse like this, don't just enter on the inverse, wait for it to open up a fair value gap and wait for a tap in. And honestly, I probably should have waited for a reaction out of it. Another inverse. So, but honestly, this one I probably would expect it to just hold.